Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, welcome to the latest episode of Schnozzcast. You're joined tonight by Todd and Bob. Todd Dillon, how are you, sir?
Bobby, dude, I am Cole Medina. Cole Medina, Bob.
You're just thinking about all those recently deceased rappers.
Oh, man.
But wait, we gotta wait till we get into sports.
Too many.
We gotta wait till we get into sports to talk about those dead rappers. But all right, if you are,
were they all athletes?
maybe. All right, if you're new to the podcast, thank you for joining us. If you are returning, thanks for returning, baby. You can find us out there anywhere where you can get a podcast. Certainly on YouTube. Please hit us up there and give us a like and subscribe so you know when we go live, which at the moment is every Saturday night at 9 Eastern Time. If you want to send us an email with your request for relationship advice or questions for the hosts, you can send it to schnozzcast@gmail.com, which, hold on, there we go. schnozzcast@gmail.com. And who are you talking to? There's Bob. And there's Todd.
That's me. TD.
All right. Sir, good to be with you. Corey's out on special assignment going to see Mr. Tom Segura tonight downtown.
Love it. Love it. Hopefully he's going to have him on the show next week.
It's possible. It's just one podcaster supporting another podcaster. That's all it is. And
Indeed.
You see what I did there? I put them on the same ground. Career-wise, comedy-wise, completely equals. Right.
Makes sense to me.
Perhaps at some point in the show, Tom will look out in the audience and Corey will catch his eye. I'll be like, you and me.
He'd be like, TT, you short king bitch.
The short king. Hey, that's actually good. That's a good segue, sir. So we have a number of things in the works. I think we can announce a few of them.
Okay.
In October, a few weeks coming up, we have some guests that we're going to have on the show.
I'm excited. Do tell.
Should I give dates? I mean, I guess
you should.
Technically, I could give
you
dates,
should,
but because we did set that up. So on the 27th of October, we're going to do a podcast and have the band's name is Year of October. They're from Nashville. Nice little tight 3-piece band that we've been following on Instagram, and they were kind enough to take us up on our offer to have them on the show and talk about their music and how they got started and all of those good things.
I'm told I'm not allowed to critique or to pitch any of the songs that I've written for them.
So I didn't tell you that personally.
It feels like someone I know did.
Well, here's what I would say to that. I would say we're going to do our customary. So if anybody out there is watching, you're like, I wonder what it's like to be a guest on the Schnozzcast. Do these guys get treated as a guest? Do you get treated well? And the answer to that is fuck yes, you do. We've had a number of guests on, and we do our homework. We do our fucking homework right up front. We will know everything there is to know about you that's publicly available to know. But we will also invite you as a guest to sit with us in a production meeting before we actually go on the show, so we can get to know each other, talk about what you want to talk about, make you feel at ease. That's how we roll, man. That's how we roll. And so that's in October. In November, we've got they're also a presence on Instagram called Sound Eaters. That's going to be on November 10th.
I'm excited about that. The
Sound Eaters are two girls who are doing fantastic things with pastries and cakes and the like, with a leaning toward rock and roll. They are huge music fans, and so they make themed. I'll say pastries, but it's probably more. What's the word I'm looking for here, Todd?
Jelly roll. I'm told I'm not allowed to critique their cooking, or
or
give them any of the recipes.
You seem to be really just geared toward I'm going to do a lot of critiquing when our guests are on.
I'm going to do a lot of helping. I want to help.
Critique.
I'm here to help.
Your helping could probably not be critiquing. That'd be helping. So we're joking around at the moment, but so they're good in the kitchen. These Sound Eaters,
like all women.
Hold on. They are better than most from the looks of it. And we started following them because of their love for vinyl and all things rock. And so we're going to talk to them at length about how they got started and the fact that they've done some local, TV shows and radio spots, I believe, because they've actually gotten to go backstage and meet some of the bands and band members for whom they've made these delicious confectionery treats.
Right.
So
I'd like to share my chocolate salty balls recipe with them.
Oh, fuck. The funny thing is, when I confirmed these dates with our guests, I foolishly said, "Hey, perhaps you'd like to go out and take a look at this, some of our episodes, and see what we're all about." And it's going to be my fucking dumb luck that this is the one they're going to look at. But we kid
and find out that you've been repressing me. I'm being repressed.
Yeah. And last but not least, we are talking very friendly in the planning stages with a girl dinner, the podcast, to do something potentially in November or possibly December, which is very exciting.
They make it on two of my new favorite Canucks.
Who are your other? Who's your third and fourth favorite Canuck?
Well, actually, I have two other favorites. So I mean, they haven't made the top two yet, but of course, John Candy.
Of course.
And another person who you wouldn't know, but her name is Michelle. If she's listening,
Michelle.
she knows what I'm talking about.
Michelle, huh?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Michelle. She knows who she is.
I think I know about John Candy, but are you is your other favorite Canuck in fact alive?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. I was worried that you were looking at the celebrity deaths from recently. No, you were just picking Canadian people from there. No, we love the Canucks. We need to work on our vowel usage. I say about
it's a boot time.
Way too much. Yeah, I need to work on that.
It's a boot time.
Yeah.
When it gets cold, I put my toque on.
Your what?
My toque.
Your toque?
Yeah. Canadian hat, bro. Where have you been?
You need to school me in all things Canadian.
I do.
I think
clearly
because you
live like 8 miles from the Canadian border, Bob. You know nothing about your neighbors to the north. Actually, to the south.
I know a few things. I wasn't aware of that one, but yeah. But that's what I'm interested to talk to Girl Dinner and see if they're also unaware of these things. Are you more Canadian than they are?
I might be.
Are they more American than you are?
Probably.
No, I think we're gonna find out. All right, we got a lot of stuff to get through, Todd. So I'm gonna jump right in here. Let's just get things started with 90 Second Sports.
90 Second Sports.
Yeah. You can cut that off, Bob.
The echo.
Because I got something else to play.
You do?
I do, brother.
All right. Go right ahead.
You might not know what that is, Bob.
Is that Canadian?
No. That is the
Canadian.
Vanderbilt Dynamite fight song. Vanderbilt beat down #1 Alabama today in college football. It might be the greatest football upset in the history of football. It is the biggest win in the history of Vanderbilt's sports. It is the biggest win in the history of South sports. It's the biggest upset ever. Well, second only to when UNLV cheated and lost in the NCAA tournament. That is the only defeat and beating that is more, again, wow. At #1 Alabama goes out and gets woodshedded by Vanderbilt.
What was Vandy ranked before this game?
2001.
All right.
Oh, no, there's only 116 schools. They were probably ranked 97th.
What was the final score?
I think it was 40-35.
Okay, that's not a woodshedding. That's a 5.
Hang on, Bob.
Yeah.
When the number 97 ranked school in the country beats the #1 team in the country, and not for nothing, do you know how many minutes there are in a college football game, Bob?
97.
You don't know how many minutes there are in a college football game, Bob?
I've never stopped to add them up. I'm too engrossed in the game. sir.
Okay, clearly you're not a math major, but 15 plus 15 plus 15 plus 15 is
45.
60, Bob.
Damn it.
Anyway,
You're right. I'm
Vanderbilt
not a math
possessed
major.
the Vanderbilt possessed the ball for nearly 50 minutes of that game.
Wait, but
That
so
is a
you're saying
woodshed.
that for 10 minutes, they only had the ball for 10 minutes, Bama did, and they scored 30 points?
Yeah.
Okay. Or 35 points. You say it's 40-35 was the win?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they got woodshedded, bro.
That's still pretty. I mean, I would call that an upset, but I guess you're talking about total time of possession. And
Dude, they couldn't even get the ball. They had Vanderbilt, who again, I'll give you $100 right now, Bob, if you can name one player off Vanderbilt without googling it.
Vandy Jones.
Exactly.
Vandy Jones
Exactly.
the fourth. I think his father.
Exactly.
His father's father's
Exactly.
father's father was who they named the university after.
Exactly. That's all I'm saying, Bob.
right,
Upset
that's fair.
city. Vanderbilt beat number 1 Alabama. And this is like the global warming of college football. College football has been ruined. Ruined, I say. Or as the Canadians would say, ruined. It is being ruined. Because guess what, Bob? All these free agents are traveling all over the country, going to different schools, and then these conferences don't even make. Bob, did you know that you know where Stanford University is? What
California.
state it's in? Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Woo!
Do you know what?
There's no math involved in that question.
And do you know what? Well, and let me ask another question. What ocean are they nearest to?
Pacific, baby.
Okay. Do you know what conference they're in?
2 out of 2. The Pacific Northwest Conference?
No.
Damn it. 2 out of 3.
Take another guess. Take another guess. Take a wild, slappy ass guess, especially since you're hearing about my beef.
Pacific.
No.
Right.
They're in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Oh, I see. This was
that makes no fucking
sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to make a point, Bob. College football has been ruined. Ruined.
Ruined. How are you spelling ruined?
The normal way, Bob. Ruined. R-U-I-N-D. Ruined.
R-U-I-N-D. I love that you didn't remove the I. It was the E that was like, nope, that's too American. Take that E out, and that will make it Canadian instantly.
I'm Black Canadian, bro.
Oh, my bad. Well, listen, I did not catch any of that Vandy game, but I think I could probably catch I can catch a replay, I think.
Yeah, it's going to be all over the news tonight.
All right.
And tomorrow.
What else we got in sports, buddy? We got
there's so much freaking. Yeah. The orgy is over in Michigan. The orgy is over, Bob.
What do we got for a score here? You're talking about Michigan.
Michigan
and Washington
is here. It's in my backyard, dude. I'm on this show being with you when I should be in the stands. Could have been in the stands. In fact,
listen,
I think Mary might be a little bit salty that we're not in the stands.
I'm sure she is. Just for our followers out there, Todd was given the opportunity to not do this show tonight. I found out that he and Mary were able to get potentially fairly affordable tickets, right? See, Michigan at Washington, and I'm like, dude, go to the game. We can skip the podcast tonight. We'll release a banked episode. Nope.
What did I say, Bob? I'm a professional.
I'm a fucking professional, is what you said. And
I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody.
Stop it. You're going to fucking do that to me all night, aren't you? Yeah. So please. Apologies to Mary from me.
Apologies accepted, Bob.
All right.
On her behalf from me.
Yeah.
How's that?
That's good enough.
Yeah, but the orgy's over in Michigan, man. Alex Orgy showed up. I don't know if it was jet lag or beautiful weather. Dude, the weather here today, out of control, good. Out of control. Like 72 degrees, beautiful blue skies, man. Sun was out. Freaking gorgeous. I think Orgy got off the plane. He's like, yeah, I think I'm going to chill out. And he got benched. But the good news is Michigan's kind of showing up again. It's 10-14 at the half.
Oh, okay.
They're down by 4. They blocked a field goal to end the first half. So it's going to be a ball game. Michigan's defense just Wake Martindale's defense doesn't look very stout to me. I know that they emptied the cupboards a bit, but they don't look very stout or very sound so far. So we'll see what happens in the second half. But yeah, college football got wrecked today because Alabama lost.
Ruined,
and,
I say.
See, you're on it, baby. You're on it.
Yep. You've made me a believer.
And then, I wanted to talk to you. Did you get a chance to look at the highlights of my boy Ashton Genty?
No, I did not. I apologize, man. You sent it to me. It's been a long day today, but we were here on time. Everything working. Broadcast, live streaming.
That's true
to the world.
That's true.
So I fall on the sword on that. It's my bad.
Hang on, I'm gonna see if I can see if you can carry us for a sec because
sure.
It's halftime in the Boise State game.
Okay.
And
you want to drop some science for the listeners?
Yeah. If you haven't, I feel really bad for all of our listeners that aren't on the West Coast, or at least near enough to Pacific time to be able to watch Boise State regularly. If you are not aware, there's a kid by the name of Ashton Genty, and I do believe that he is the greatest college running back in the history of college football. He is, and in fact, Boise State is beating Utah State 49-17 right now. It's just started the third quarter.
That's a woodshedding.
But I'm going to see if I can get the stats.
All right, while you're looking, let me just quickly. So for all of our Detroit fans, Tigers got spanked today. They did win the wild card.
They get woodshed
series. If you haven't been keeping up with that, 2 out of 3 games to make the playoffs, and now they're going up against Cleveland Guardians now in the first actual run of the playoffs, best of 5, and they got spanked today. I mean, Cleveland Guardians I think were ranked number 2 in the ACLS, ALCS, but I'm not sure we're going to score a run in this series.
Their pitching is that good, huh?
Dude, they picked us apart like nobody's business. And
all season long, did they?
No, I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and look and see if they've played how many times they played Cleveland. But I don't think I've seen them face off against each other recently. But so I'm really just kind of watching Cleveland now, getting a sense for that. But they just were surgical from the mound. And
nice.
all of our big hitters, Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, everybody just went down swinging. And they had a 5-run. I think it was the second inning, a 5-run inning, and we couldn't get anything together. So hopefully it was just a fluke.
Get me out of the box.
If he could, he would.
I know. But, Bob. So let me switch back. So they just started the second half. In the first half, Ashton Genty 13 carries.
Yeah.
186 yards.
What the fuck?
And 3 touchdowns.
In the first half?
Yes.
And they're up, you said 49-17?
Yes.
Something like that? Okay.
Yes. So he scored now, I want to say 12 touchdowns in the last 4 games.
That's, I don't know what the record is, but.
They have 1 loss. They lost to Oregon, and he had over 200 yards against them and 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Right.
And Oregon's ranked number 6 in the country. And they just to tie everything together, woodshedded Sparty last night, 31-10.
Yeah, I watched that game.
So Boise lost to Oregon in a shootout. In fact, they should have won the game. Right. Their defense just could not hold up against Oregon because Oregon has a really, really good team and a really, really good offense. Yeah. But Boise showed up, and again, the best player on the field, period, both sides, Ashton Genty, by a lot.
All right. So I will probably for I think the 3rd time promise you that I will look at some highlights and stats.
And if you're out there, like I said, I feel every time I watch, and the Boise games seem to be late. They play a lot of late games, and so I'm watching them at 7:30 my time, and I'm like, man, that means nobody on the East Coast is getting to see this thing live. And when you see this, the stats are so gaudy, right? Because again, they would shed a ranked Washington State team, and you can crap on them all you want. Again, these are real college schools, and this kid is untackleable, and he can take it to the house from anywhere. His long today was 75 yards.
That's crazy. So we lost Pete Rose as well this week.
Johnny Hustle.
Yeah. And I don't know what your thoughts about this are, but obviously the story with his passing is, people saying why the hell couldn't they put him in the Hall of Fame before he died? Should he now go in posthumously? And I'll tell you my thoughts on it, and that is, I don't think so. I mean, at some point, everybody who was alive and able to make and had some influence on that decision is going to die, and only then might he get some mercy or pity from those people who've taken over from them.
I don't think I'm. My mind is this way, Bob. I don't think he should get into the Hall of Fame because he committed an egregious sin. And it was the rule of the day. And if they change the rules now, but you can't bet on sports in your own, and you can't bet.
Not when you're a player.
Yeah, or a coach, and it taints the game. And I know he didn't bet on his team, and he didn't fix any games, but it's a rule that keeps. There's very, very little sanctity in sports anymore. Anyway, I mean, that's what, like I said, look, the new conferences are stupid. The fact that these college players transfer all over the players ruining college football. It's all about the money. None of this is pure anymore. But my take is Pete Rose is going to live forever because you know what? His records are going to endure forever. Even if he's not first, you're going to see him on the list. His name will be associated with baseball for forever. There will always be highlights. He will live as long as baseball lives. He doesn't get in the Hall of Fame. Okay. His records. It's not like they struck his name from the annals of baseball, right? That would be a different thing, right? Yeah. All of his records are now stricken, and you shall never speak the name Pete Rose, and everywhere every record he has gets etched off or crossed out. This is like Barry Bonds, right? I don't think he should ever. Barry Bonds and McGuire and Sosa and all the right. And again, if proven guilty, Clemens, all the roid heads. Yeah. If those guys don't get into the Hall, okay, I think their records still stand. At the end of the day, I still think Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter baseball's ever seen. Too bad he cheated. I don't think that it helped him hit 9 million home runs, but I think it helped him stay healthy enough to hit 9 million home runs. So his record should stand. He should never get into the Hall. There should at least be some. Otherwise, just let everybody into the Hall of Fame, regardless of what they do, right?
Right. That's why I'm kind of leaning that way, in that, if you bend the rules for one, you got to bend the rules for all. And this guy, he was, like you said, he was Charlie Hustle, and he's got hits records that aren't going to be broken anytime soon, but they felt so strongly about it that he couldn't get into a major league ballpark for like 20 years or more.
Absolutely.
And, they never really proved for sure that he didn't bet on the Reds games. There's plenty of investigations that concluded that he probably did. But even that doesn't really matter, because if you're betting back in those days, those were the time of like the mafia.
Absolutely. Right? Look at Calvin, and look at even today, Calvin Ridley. Who was the Lion who got caught up and suspended for a year? They were betting. So they were betting using FanDuel on other teams, and they got freaking kicked out of the league for a year. So gambling on the sport is dangerous, and so I think the punishment fits the crime for his case. I think it takes nothing away from what he accomplished, but I think that he broke again for professional sports is dirty in almost every way. They should toe the line on this.
And I would argue that his accomplishments on the field, along with the gambling, means that his name and his career will live on in the minds of baseball fans far longer than someone who was just good in the field and didn't gamble. Right?
Yep.
His infamy he'll live far longer in the minds of baseball fans than most.
And baseball Hall of Fame's kind of weird anyway, right? Because there's a lot of people who didn't cheat, who have incredible stats, and who don't make the Hall of Fame because the writers who vote for him are such purists and assholes anyway. So at the end of the day, I think I'm glad I'm able to say that again now. At the end of the day, I'm not
Yeah.
being repressed anymore. Uh, I'm
You're
glad
welcome.
that and when we're talking about sports for 90 minutes, not 90 seconds. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think his as long as baseball is played, his name will be brought up. So
Right.
that's that's it. His legacy is cemented there. His
Yeah.
legacy is also cemented in another way. And by the way, don't gamble on the sport you play as a player or a coach because you won't ever be even thought about for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. And part of the reason for that is that they knew that if you gamble, you're going to lose. And when you lose, then now you're beholden to the mafia, and you're going to
Yeah.
do whatever you have to do to get out from under that. And that means, fixing games. That means making decisions that impact or influence the outcome of a game.
Or just, I mean, there's so many other ways that they could do it too. Like I said, I don't know. It's all
But
mafia. So
the
it's dirty.
the need to do that because you are underwater. That's the part that
That's one part.
that's why you
Absolutely,
make
that's a
the
big
rule.
piece of it. Yep. I was going to say, I think I'm interested to see. Speaking of gambling, and again, baseball. Because by the way, I don't want them to do anything. I can't. I'm not a huge regular season baseball guy, but
Right.
I'm excited for the playoffs to see Shohei. Right, the Babe Ruth, the modern day Babe Ruth
Yeah.
on the Dodgers.
Johnny.
If you're not a baseball fan, maybe the greatest baseball player of the lives of anybody 60 or younger.
Right.
Right? He's Mookie Betts is one of the best players ever, and even he's like, I'm not faster than he is. I don't throw the ball harder than he is. The guy hits, he
Yeah.
pitches, he does everything. He's a modern day Babe Ruth,
Yeah.
and hit the gambling stuff with his translator. Right? It's
Yeah.
like when the smoke settles there, if he's had anything to do with it, I think again his accomplishments on the field will stand for forever.
Right.
But if he's been cheating or gambling, then he shouldn't get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Agreed. So, I don't want to move on from sports if you got more sports, buddy.
Dude, I've been hitting it all day. I don't know what else. What else is there to talk about? Man, it's just so much. Again, Alabama Vandy's got my and
Got your
Ashton
attention?
Genty. Yeah, that
Yeah.
got my attention. And then of course I want to see Michigan wake up. I'm a little bit nervous about that 10 next to their name, if I'm honest, because again that defense doesn't look
Yeah.
like a top 10 defense.
There's a lot of ball left to play though.
Yeah, they're driving right now, so they're doing good. Doing good.
I could tell you a story about what happened to me this week.
Do it.
I had a follow-up dermatology appointment. This is a great riveting start to a story, but
Yeah, I know. Get it.
yeah,
Pimple popper?
I had I had a mole removed a few weeks ago, and
Okay.
let's say, and had to come back in for a follow-up, make sure everything is good. But while I was there, I'm like, oh, she's like, we'll do a full checkup at that point. I'm like, okay, no problem. So it was like a 10:30 a.m. appointment, and I woke up and I had forgotten that I had the appointment that morning until I looked at my calendar, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to be there in an hour. So showered, got the dog fed, all that stuff, and then went to the appointment. It's like 2 minutes from my house. I get there, sign in, they put me back in a room, and they're like, "Why? So what brings you here today?" I'm like, why is it that doctors don't understand why you're there? You made the appointment with them. They know why you're coming. They asked you to come back in. Like, we'd like you to come back in so we could take a look at this. All of a sudden now they forgot. And I'm like, I'm here for a follow-up and a full inspection.
An
And she's like,
analectomy.
well, if I thought that there was a chance for moles to happen like down there, then I probably would have made it clear in the appointment. But so she
Touchdown,
goes,
Michigan.
woo! that puts him in the lead. All right. So she's like, okay, well, strip down your underwear and doctor will be right in. And I'm like,
I have a story about that, Bob.
hold on. So I've never had to worry about, moles below my waist. Like basically I'm part Irish, part German, a little bit of mutt mix across the European continent.
Okay.
It's waist up that and in the back where that's where the moles happen. You got to watch for.
Okay.
But I didn't think about it. It didn't even occur to me. And I'm like, okay, so I took my pants off and I'm like, I was wearing, there are a pair of purple boxers with skeleton heads on them.
Nice.
That also glow in the dark.
Nice.
I don't know why I grabbed them out of my drawer. Maybe God was
because you wanted the style and profile.
I'd like to say that was why, but I don't think it was. So I'm sitting there on the table, just in my underwear, and doctor comes in, and you know how when you come into contact with somebody and you know that there's something that you're embarrassed about, you watch their face, and so she comes in and she goes she's like, "Oh, hi, Mr. Rankin," just the really quick double take. And I'm like, yeah, you saw the underwear, didn't you? We never spoke about it. We did not discuss it.
Oh,
but it was there.
Awesome.
It was there. It was this cloud hanging over the conversation the entire time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
Tell me.
Awesome.
So what's your underwear story?
As soon as you said that, yeah. I'll never forget. Mary swears by chiropractors, and she had a chiropractor, and she's like, "You need to go see my chiropractor. She's the best." I'm like, "Nope, I don't believe in witch doctors." And she's like, "No, you got to go see my chiropractor." Nope. And so finally, I'm like, "Okay. I will go. I will go because my shoulder. I've had multiple shoulder surgeries, and so I wanted to see if there's anything that they could do to at least make that better." And so I go in, and sure enough, she's like, "Oh, strip down to your underwear." And I'm like,
right.
It's my shoulder. It's not my wiener. It's my shoulder.
Wait, do we have that on the mixer? Is that the story it came from?
I think so.
All right.
I think so. As soon as she said it, I'm like, yeah, it's my shoulder, not my wiener.
Nice.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Alabama got beat by Vanderbilt today.
I heard it was a woodshedding.
Woodshedding, baby. They got ball slapped, just like the Tigers.
Hey, listen, Corey and I were talking earlier in the week, and since we're still on sports, I think it's appropriate. I think the internet at large is well aware of your disdain for NFL kickers. And
all kickers.
Well, let's just say NFL just for the purposes of this story.
Okay.
Are you aware that the Atlanta Falcons have a...
Young Hui Koo.
Yes, an Asian place kicker.
I know him.
Yeah. And your thoughts?
He kicked far.
I only have myself to blame for this. He wanted me to make sure that I brought it up. So he still don't like him though?
No, he's shank far too.
All right.
He's ruining the game. Ruined. It's been
ruined the game. All right, sir. Let's jump over to airing of grievances.
This begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now you're gonna hear about it. As a rain blows upon him, I realize there had to be another rain.
All right.
As I rained blows upon him.
Yeah, that's
rocks my I love that.
I don't stop the music until I hear that. All right. I think you and I both have a grievance here.
Yeah, I do.
If yours is sports related, you should probably go first.
It is not sports related.
All right. Well, all right. So while you are, let's talk about drinking. What are you drinking tonight?
Oh, dude, thank you for asking. Tonight, I mixed it up a little bit, Bob, since you said I was getting kind of in a rut. I'm drinking New Belgian Brewing's Voodoo Ranger Juice Force Imperial IPA. Ooh. This hazy IPA, Bob, packs a punch at 9.5% alcohol by volume.
The fuck?
Voodoo Rangers Juice Force IPA.
Does Mary
9.5%? of love, baby. And it's smooth. It is good drinking. Great IPA, Bob. Absolutely recommend it.
I think if Mary knew you're drinking that, she might have something to say about it.
She might.
You're going to be too drunk to have dinner later.
You know it. And guess what, Bob? Ask me what my shot is.
Crown Apple.
It ain't Crown Apple, bitch.
What?
Taint. Sweet tea whiskey, baby.
Oh,
Twisted
okay.
tea, sweet tea whiskey. Yeah, boy. You said
How
I was
is
getting
that?
in a rut. TD's mixing it up. Putting my toque on, baby.
So is that better than just getting whiskey with twisted tea?
Who knows? I'm going to have it for the first time tonight with you, Bob.
You're going to tell me. All right. While we're trying to arrange that, I'll jump into my grievance here.
All righty.
So Lori's son's birthday was just recently, and she bought him concert tickets for his birthday.
Fröhliche Geburtstag, G-Man. That's German for happy birthday, in case you didn't know.
Got it. And so it was tickets to go see 21 Pilots. Now she asked me if I would like to go, and I'm like, sure, absolutely. And then months went by. I never looked up 21 Pilots. Maybe I knew a song because they play them in the car a lot, but I couldn't tell you. So we're going to the show, and on the way to the show, I'm like, hey, did I ever send you the money for that ticket, for this ticket? And she's like, no. I'm like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Yeah. So how much do I owe you? And she told me, I'm like, what the fuck for this
You're
ticket?
like the junior varsity Imagine Dragons, right?
Wow. That's a really good question. One of them is the junior varsity for the other one. I'm not sure which one it is though.
I like Imagine Dragons.
Okay. So let's say for you, they're the junior varsity Imagine Dragons. But for Lori's son, probably the reverse.
Okay.
It's
okay for you to be wrong, G-Man.
So I said to the money, but I'm like, holy shit, they better be fucking good. So, because this was like the last of like 7 concerts I've been to in the last 3 months. So I was all like, if anybody had asked me like, hey, you want to go see this show? I'm like, I don't care if it's been my lifelong dream. Like I'm all concerted out for now. But, so we get to the show. Oh, you got your shot. So let's do that before
Let's do it.
Gets warm. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Ooh-wee. That's good.
That's okay. It's a little
That's just
lemony.
okay?
It's a little lemony.
What's twisted tea? It's
I'm
twisted
gonna-
sweet tea.
Yes.
Did you
sweet
think it
tea.
wouldn't taste like twisted tea?
I like sweet tea less the lemon.
Did you think you were hoping it'd be more whiskey-ish than tea-ish?
No. Tea and lemon are not synonymous, Bob.
Yeah. But twisted tea got a lemon.
The twisted is the alcohol.
Yeah, but twisted tea, as I recall, seems to have a lemony flavor. I just feel like you should have known that.
It said it had a touch of lemon, not a whole heap of helping.
All right, so we go on the show, and they're at Little Caesars. So we've got, based on what we paid for tickets, got decent seats, and they come out. So I don't know anything about this band. I'm just gonna say I know very little about the band, and I didn't look them up, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm just gonna take it all in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm an outsider, right? But apart from me, everyone else in the arena is an insider. They are all in for 21 Pilots. There's
especially around the seats where you're sitting at. They paid good money to hear that band.
They did, but even the people up in the nosebleeds are cosplaying with made up, homemade costumes and clothing to represent their band, and everybody's going all out. And I'm clearly the only dude in this place who doesn't really know 21 Pilots. So they come on stage, and for the rest of the night, this is the part where I'm like, maybe it's just because I'm an outsider, right? I don't know their music. I'm just kind of learning about it. I'm taking it in as a neutral observer. but I found myself just kind of, I'm like, man, I've never been to a Taylor Swift show, but I imagine this is what it's like, where every single person screams at the top of their lungs every line to every lyric in every song.
Same thing for Queen Bee.
Think so? Beyonce, same deal.
I went to saw her at Seattle, and it was like that. I knew some of her music, but I was not. I like you. I clearly was not in the club.
Right, right. And not that I felt left out. Like, oh, I wish I'd done my homework. Like, I'm totally fine with that, but I couldn't. I'm like, I want to be able to hear the singer, right?
Right.
And
you're hearing everybody else.
I'm hearing everybody else because they're right behind me, just screaming at the top of their lungs. And the thing that got me, so there's two things about rock shows that I'm a pretty big stickler for. Number one, I want all the musicians to play their own instruments. None of this dub tracks, dubbed vocals. Just, I'm here. I paid to watch you perform. That's what I want to see. And number two, I want to hear you sing your stuff. And I feel like with the audience, I couldn't really get that experience. And the thing that made it worse was that probably every other song, the screaming goes so loud that the lead singer just kind of stopped. He just like, I'm not going to bother.
Let everybody else do it?
Yeah, I'm going to give the song over to you. And so he's just kind of like, doing the whole like, hey, let me hear you, or hey, come on, or I'm going to strum on my guitar while you guys sing. I'm like, that's not what I paid for. Now, since then, to be
hit the button.
To be fair, since then, it's been pointed out to me because we had a long talk about it after the show. Lori did send me some links about like the history of the band, which really did address some of my concerns about like how they are a two-piece, like two in the band, drummer, and then the other guy sings and plays guitar, but he also does keyboards, but not all at the same time. So Gotcha. Every song's got all this stuff in it, but he could only do, he could sing and he could play one instrument. Every other instrument is dubbed in.
He should get a harmonica then. He could play the guitar. And
he should get that one man band. Sort of.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt like that's the oldest I've ever looked. It was when I was doing a one man band. So that helped a lot to, and I'm going to dig a little bit deeper because I feel like there's more to that history of the band. But at the time at the show, I'm like, come on, man. You can sing your own stuff, please. Now, I will give them credit. The best thing you could do if you're playing an arena show is to try to make the arena seem smaller, right? The people that are up in the upper deck, the people that are in the back of the arena, anything you do to make them feel part of the show makes it feel like they got their money's worth. So they did a really good job of like putting, little mini stages in the middle of the arena that sort of hydraulically lifted them up, and they would, sort of be there playing one on each side, which is pretty cool. But because I wasn't in on all the 21 Pilots lingo and the history of the band, they would have like LED screens behind the band that would, I'm sure you're familiar with Pink Floyd The Wall.
Yep.
I'm sure you've seen the movie.
I have 100 times.
And I made this point. If I brought somebody to go see Pink Floyd The Wall in concert, and without them knowing anything about Pink Floyd or The Wall or ever heard about before, they would probably be able to understand the story. Because number one, you could hear the lyrics, which I couldn't in this show. And number two, the visuals behind the screen told a story. But here, there was no story to tell. It was just random images of things that seemed to make no sense. Like all of a sudden, here's a priest speaking directly into a guy's mouth, and then flash to a vulture with green eyes. And all of a sudden, now here's a baby. And I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here. But everybody, like, every time the vulture with green eyes would come up, and girls would be like, oh my God, the vulture with green eyes. Oh my God, I've been waiting all night for that vulture. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? And I know it's because I don't know anything about the band's history. I know that. But it was I got the sense where like, okay, they're not telling a story for everybody. They're just telling it to their fans. They're doing fan services. This concert is for the fans, not for the newcomers. Like, If you're new to 21 Pilots, we're not gonna win you over in this show. You'll have to just fucking go home and listen to us and watch our videos, and you'll figure it out.
Hi, Indy.
Indy. Oh yeah, buddy.
The Indy cam is back.
He is. So that's my grievance. Maybe it means that I'm a fucking old man. Maybe it means that it was just because I came in as an outsider, and that's the outsider experience. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? Just during the show here, they're putting on a good show, but I feel like I'm not getting the most out of the show. I'm not getting the bang for my buck that I might have with a band that I knew more about. So and that's on me because I did zero homework before this show.
You shouldn't have to use homework, though. I don't think you need to do homework to go to a show and be thrilled. I mean, ultimately,
it's like asking somebody to watch like Avengers Endgame without them having seen any of the other Marvel movies, and say that they've only got like a passing thing with
a concert shouldn't be that. Like you said, at the wall, even if you don't get it, you'll eventually get it. Although the one thing I will say is, if you stood next to me at the wall, like some people did, you would have heard me screaming every single word of every single verse the whole freaking time, off key.
Yep. And someone who wasn't screaming them and was upset that you were screaming them, that would have been me at this show. But I've been in those shoes where I've been not top of my lungs screaming, but that's not how I roll. I will sing along, but I'm not literally screaming for the whole show.
Only Pink Floyd for me, and Roger Waters when he came here to Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my band, dude. You know that's my band.
That's your jam.
That's my band.
I did know that. But yeah, you got me on that. All right, so I'm dishing it back over to you, sir. Your grievance for today.
Yeah, my grievance, and I do. You know, it's funny. I did have a bit of a sports grievance that makes me an old man, but I'm not going to go there. My grievance is this. This is a bit of a mild grievance. But today, while we were out at the Salmon Days in Issaquah, Washington, it was a really nice festival, a mid-sized city, say a city of about 20,000 people. They shut down the main strip, and they had like all manner of artists and vendors and you name it, all kind of just celebrating the salmon run here locally on one of the creeks in the nearby city. And they had this huge kind of foods of the world thing. And here's my grievance: just people not being self-aware. So my first grievance is this.
Yeah,
there was tons of people who brought their dogs of every shape and size. We actually saw a little 4-month-old Cane Corso puppy, cute as hell, Bob. Mm-hmm. We saw Malamutes, Huskies, Corgis. I saw dogs that looked like black labs, but they were shaped like Welsh Corgis. They're like really short to the ground and long, but they had like full-size black lab heads. It was really weird. But and then when we were at one food court area, and the guy had a little husky puppy. Not puppy. It was full grown because it was probably 65, 70 pounds. So it was a full grown dog, but clearly like he had this super loose leash and super loose collar, and he was not in control of his dog. And again, I don't mind if dogs come and sniff me, but with so many dogs, his dog was in every dog that walked by his ass. And I'm like, because Mary's like, hey, we should have brought our dogs. And I'm like, nope. Because literally that dog should have gotten his snout bitten off about 19 times because the guy just would not like keep any control. And like there's a lady walking by with a baby. The dog's got the face in the stroller. And I'm like, I get that you trust that your dog's not going to do anything. But if I'm pushing the baby around, I don't know what your dog's going to do. And I might not want your dog drool on my kid. But I was just people being so... I mean, I hate to use the word rude, but just not aware that the world is not their dog's oyster or their oyster. Yeah. And then my secondary thing with that was at these events, ultimately people kind of fall into normal traffic patterns. So they had the street closed off. And so of course on the right-hand side of the street, people are kind of walking one way on the right side, like you were driving, and the other way on the other side, just like following kind of normal rules of traffic. If you're there in a group of 8 or 9 people, why would you stop in the middle of that and have a conversation? Yeah. So that all the traffic has to go around your big pot of people. That's my grievance is, while it didn't wreck my day, it's just, can people be just a little bit more courteous to one another?
No, people are assholes. I can answer that for you really easily. People are inconsiderate assholes that don't think twice about. They want to do their. I think I'm paraphrasing a Louis C.K. bit here, but people want to do their favorite thing, and they are not interested in doing their second favorite thing. They're like, fuck. Even if I get to do my second favorite thing, that's not good enough. I want to do my favorite thing, even if it inconveniences you.
It's like I said, when there's this big group of people in the middle of the street, and all these people going, and you could see everybody going by sideways. People walk, and again, it was backing it up for everybody on the other side. And I'm like, nobody in this group is paying attention to the fact that if they were to step just off to the side or get out the main thoroughfare. And by the way, there was tons of places for people to go off that main strip.
Right.
To have that conversation, but they just and that happens so often, and I'm like, wow, I guess people just are not aware of how kind of crap that is. And then, like I said, with the dog, and again, I'm a dog guy, so I don't mind when dogs come and sniff me. I don't mind that at all. But when I see, I'm like, if my dog stuck his face into someone's baby carriage, everybody would lose their mind.
Yeah, I think that's safe to say.
So the fact that this guy's like, oh, just because you know your dog's friendly or you think your dog's friendly, you're allowed to just let him. And like I said, I'm like, he had all the wrong kit. Too loose a cloth leash and too loose a cow. Like literally, if his dog and that was my other thing. I'm like, all these dogs are friendly, but we were in the food areas, right? So there's 30 some food trucks and people and kids are dropping food. It's all. I'm like, all that needs to happen is this guy's not got control of his dog, and two dogs go after the same piece of popcorn.
Right, right.
It just was, yeah. It was. That's my grievance is if we could all just kind of be aware of our surroundings and try and be nicer to each other. I'm working at it myself, and I wish that other people would kind of jump on this board with me.
I feel like I do that most of the time. And the reason why I think that is because I'm acutely aware when other people are not doing that. I will not name names, but I will say,
Corey, you dick.
So when you're watching, when you're in a group setting, right, and there's a TV on, and you're like, oh, the playoff game is on right now. Like it's a game that most people who follow that sport would want to watch, and they made the effort to put the game on the TV. And then a couple of people in the group who you find out after asking are not sports fans sit their chairs like directly in front of the television while they're talking to somebody, over here. Meanwhile, you can't see the fucking television.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, maybe if I just stare really extra intently at the screen, they'll get the idea. They don't.
No, they don't. They don't.
And then one of them
last weekend.
And then one of them gets up to go get a drink or something like that. And so once they get up and leave the room, I take their chair and I move it back where it was supposed to be. So he should get the message when he comes back. Yeah,
exactly.
Like, oh, my chair's not there. Maybe I shouldn't be sitting there. But dude takes the chair, puts it right back where it was, and sits down. And I'm like,
yeah.
And then their friend in the other chair goes, oh, maybe we should move. They're trying to watch the game, and they're looking directly at me for some sort of affirmation. Like either I'm going to say like I wasn't watching that playoff game. Or what am I supposed to say? Like, yeah, move your
ass, biatch.
But these are nice people who ordinarily I'm like, oh no, they're really nice. They just don't have any awareness of what's going on around them. So I go, oh no, that's okay. And they do move, and I'm like, okay, problem solved. That it shouldn't have taken that long, but okay.
Yeah,
I don't want to offend you, but at the same time, I'm going to do everything I can to politely like point out to you that you're not even aware of what you're fucking up for the rest of us here.
Dude, it's so funny because that's my carry on to the same grievance. Last weekend, Mary and I went out to a restaurant in Redmond, and there was the Colorado game was on. And so we sat down in a booth in the bar section so that we could watch it. And between the bar and the TVs were high top tables, and if people are sitting there, you can still see the game clearly. So it doesn't matter unless somebody was 7'6", would they be in the way of actually the television? Otherwise, even with on high chairs. So we sat at the booth because it was more comfortable, and we could still see the television. Thinking, hey, if anybody sits there, our view really isn't obstructed still, right?
Right.
And the interesting thing that happened. So we're watching the game, and we're watching Shedeur Sanders play. I mean, ultimately another. If you're not watching East Coast football, Deion Sanders' kid is something special. Hopefully, his line sucks, so hopefully he survives the season. But he is a special talent. And Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, I think he should be the runner-up in the Heisman. Maybe he should win the Heisman because he's a two-way player, and he's freaking All-America on both offense and defense, and he only comes off the field like 8 plays a game. Anyway, I'm back into sports again, Bob. How did I do that? But anyway, we were watching that game, and this wedding party comes in, and they sit at the high tops, no big deal.
Right.
And literally, you could tell one of the people at the table kind of picked up because one of the women was thinking that I was staring at her, but I was actually staring over her head, and she looked. She realized, he's watching the television, right?
Right.
So I'm like, cool. She knows I'm not eyeing her up with my wife sitting in front of me. I'm just watching the game, and so literally, then more and more people start pouring in, and people start standing in front of the table. Do you think that she can see that now I'm like moving my head around because I can't see over the people that are moving around in front? So do you think that she said it, or anybody at the table said, hey, if we could move out to the side, these people are trying to watch the game? No, they did not.
Nope.
No, everybody just stacked up in front of us. I was like, you are some inconsiderate mofos.
Yeah. That does not surprise me at all. Of course she didn't understand.
No.
But you know what? Sometimes you give people the benefit of the doubt, and that they just don't realize. And sometimes you even go so far as to point it out to them very politely, like, I'm not sure if you were aware, but there's some people here who are trying to watch this game. Excuse me. And sometimes they don't take it well. Like, I don't give a fuck. And you're like, oh, okay, all right.
You shouldn't have sat in that chair then.
Yeah, no more Mr. Nice Guy.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is, baby.
We love people most of the time.
17-17, Bob. This is gonna be a barn burner here.
All right, as long as it's not a woodshedding. Mr. Dillon, it is always a pleasure. I don't care what Corey says when he's not here. Things still go silky smooth, and they'll only go maybe 12% smoother when he rejoins us next week.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right, brother. That's the episode for the Saturday. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Please come back and join us again next week. Peace out.